everyone. I'd love to share this participant session with you in which a participant discusses her recent struggles with a relationship and being betrayed in that relationship. So there's a lot on trust issues and how to rebuild self-trust when you feel as if you weren't able to discern if someone had your best interests in mind or not. The discussion with Vagrein focuses on recognizing flags in a relationship, recognizing when one is already in a state of knowing that they're not heading in the direction that they're wanting to go in relationships, and not necessarily taking action that is in alignment with self. Therefore, not so much being betrayed by the other self ultimately, but betraying oneself as well. There's a lot in this session relating to following your guidance, following your spirit guides, and quite a few tidbits and wisdom on Vagrein's part on how to avoid complications in relationships. So I'm really hoping that you're going to enjoy this one. And in fact, a lot of the recent Boulder event called A New Level of Connection was about relationships as well. That transmission is going to be available to the Labradorite members in the Vagrein membership site, which is opening its doors again from April 1st to 7th. And there's going to be way more on interactions, relationships, both with self and with other self in the upcoming Florida event that is going to be April 13th and 14th. And don't forget that there's a special awesome encounter with Mike Dooley on April 12th as well. So if you're in the Orlando area, do join us for all 3 days. If you're not able to make it out to Orlando, then the Sacred Shift event that is going to be Vagrein's special transmissions is also available via live stream. So go ahead and check that out at www.jpherman.com/events. So you can grab your live stream tickets or you can join us in person. There are still a few spots left. I can't wait to see you in person in Florida if that's what is going to be in the cards for us. And if not, to see you here back on YouTube or online in the near future. Enjoy the session and all of my love.
Without you. We are pleased to be meeting with you in this fashion and are eager to discuss with you anything you so choose to know more of yourself. Hello again.
Hello, Vagrein. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for being available. Um, I would like to have some guidance about this relationship that I've had with this man, and which kind of is put on hold or ended about at the beginning of February, when I found out that the man I was with was actually having very, 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 very sexual relationship with two other women. And since then, it has been very challenging for me to maintain my trust, I guess, in my own judgment, in my own discernment, and has kind of put everything in question. Um, yeah, the mostly was the shock of realizing that I had been with someone that could do such things behind my back, and also after that I had started to understand, or even we decided then to separate, because for me it was very difficult to be able to process. And then I'm wondering, so I would like some guidance to you to see if I have some blind spot about this, to understand a little bit more about the depth of the situation. I'm still going back and forth between what is the next step that I have to do. And also, most importantly, also I want to kind of start to rebuild myself, because I feel very not solid in life, and not participating in life as I was. And so I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned on the amount of damage kind of like that this has done. And I also have, because I just the person that I am, I have curiosity in understanding why have I allowed this to happen? Why did I know about this? Or how could it pass under my radar? Or what I need to know about what was the purpose of all of this? Sorry, all these questions.
Yes, no, it is correct to have all these questions. And the first that we can address is that it is also correct for you to be focusing upon rebuilding trust in yourself first, because that truly is all that is important moving forward. You cannot, and nor is it your role, to modify or alter or even question the motives of another self and their choices on how to live their life. You are indeed, however, requested by the universe consistently to evaluate what is being presented to you externally, such as in circumstances, and compare it towards the person that you do want to become moving forward. So the first thing that you can do is begin to reframe the entire situation and circumstance as a positive, not, yes, we understand in the way that he has done you wrong or that there is some sort of damage done there, but that this is giving you an opportunity to decide moving forward what it is you are wanting in relationships, but more so what it is you are wanting in relationship with yourself. There is already one clue to your blind spot, and that is that you said that you were not able to continue the relationship with him because, and you said it as if it was some sort of fault that you have, because it was taking you too long or there was too much for you to process in this recognition that his values do not align with yours. The truth is that there are the majority of people on this planet whose values do not align with yours in a certain way, and it is not your job to find or to make those whose alignments are not in sync with yours become aspects of your life by changing your values, but instead to move on into situations in which you are attracting and then able to discern if the person's values are the same as yours. So all of this you already know. We would say the first step is to let go of any sort of, well, I did not do something correct, whether it be in terms of processing the information that was revealed to you, or it be in the not having seen someone's ulterior motives or ulterior behaviors that did not align your values. It is not on you only to be able to find out what someone is doing behind your back. That is on them. And sometimes it does occur that these people come into your life for the purpose of showing you not that you have bad judgment, but clarifying for you quite how strong you are in the values that you are holding. From what you have shared so far, it is clear to us that you do want a partnership in which you do have transparency, in which you do have respect, in which you do have someone who, while they're with you or without you, is on your team, is on your page, and would not take actions that, if discovered, would hurt you. This person took actions that they knew would or could hurt you, that in other words, they would not have hidden them if they did not know that this could be damaging to you in the first place, or damaging to what they were wanting from you in the first place. But those who would take care of you and your heart when you give it to them, whether you are in the room with them or not. So, a shifting of your perception of this person is, yes, naturally what is unfolding, but instead of allowing yourself to have a shifted perception of yourself, we would suggest that you understand that while you didn't know this was occurring at first, you did find yourself eventually in a situation unfolding in which it was revealed to you, either through the aspects of yourself that are the universe, as in you caught him or he made a mistake or whatever it may have been in terms of his plans for keeping this concealed, and now know if this sort of thing would happen again in the future, you would be aware of it before investing quite so much in someone who was not correct for you. We will ask now, were there not signs of his, perhaps, transgressions before you knew about them, but signs that within yourself you said to yourself slightly, there is something a little bit off about this person, and you know what? I'm going to ignore the sensation of this being off for me.
No, I did feel, and I did ask him several times, I did feel and asked him several times that I thought that he was hiding something from me. So there was that feeling. And also because after all of this came out, it came out that he came to me with covering a lie, a big, big lie. So, and the way he was covering that lie was with a lie that didn't make a lot of sense. So I did question him often about that. But also, I have to admit, because he was a spiritual person, shaman or whatever. He did shaman trips and journeys and into the taking care of the inner baby. I thought that he was not more spiritual than me, but the way he was talking and the way he was presenting himself, I did not question his level of integrity and morality, because he was not just a butcher or something like that, because he came from that background. When I would ask him, feel like, I would say, Giampiero, I think that sometimes I feel like you're hiding something from me. He would say, that's so, I feel bad that you're feeling that way, but that's too bad. I don't, but no, I'm not hiding anything. So I couldn't go anywhere with that, because I would ask him. Yeah.
When he would reply in that way, what was the emotion that was revealed to you within yourself?
I felt like, okay, maybe I am, maybe it's just a feeling, or yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know where to go with that, because I felt like he was being kind of honest about it. Like it was in me and not in him. That, yeah.
So you doubted yourself in those moments.
Yes. And that's why at a certain point I snooped. So I snooped that night when I found out. I snooped. I had like this inkling of snooping, like I needed to snoop. I don't know where that inkling came from, but and then, sure enough, I found that, there was, I didn't even imagine that it was that it was so pornographic. I didn't even imagine it was so strong. I didn't know what I was snooping for, honestly. And then I was shocked when I found that out.
Yes, and we can understand that that feels like a deep betrayal from another self that you gave your heart and your trust to. And so the feelings around that are valid, and the feelings around that are meant for you to sit with and be in. And that might be what is a participating factor to the fact that you do not necessarily, in this now moment, and we're not saying it will not return, but feel much motivation to be as vibrant in your life as you had done before. That is because you are dealing with emotions that do want to be processed, that probably not only have a root in this experience that you've had just now, but other moments in your life in which you were betrayed. And the fact that the expression of this betrayal was quite as extreme or as confronting as it was for you does align with the fact that the universe set you up, or you were setting up yourself to have no doubt any longer in your instinct, no doubt any longer in that inclination that you said, well, you know what? Action needs to be taken here in order for me to have clarity, because the clarity that I'm requesting from my partner is being diverted, and it is being avoided, and it is being told to me in lies. So, more so than not trusting yourself, you can also see this in some ways as, you know what? Was correct to trust myself. I was correct to doubt this person, even if all signs pointed to them saying that it was me and my doubtfulness in the first place that was causing the problem. So what we are seeing in you is not so much that you cannot trust yourself. It is, in fact, that you can trust yourself, that when something is meant to be revealed to you, that you will have the wherewithal to be able to say, you know what, I do care about this relationship, but I'm not going to allow myself to have blind spots. I am not going to allow myself to continue further when I have a strong sensation, a knowing within me, no matter who this person is in front of me, and no matter what they are saying, that there is something that is off. We do empathize with the fact that it was a very powerful realization for you. But what we would like for you to take from this conversation is in knowing that you have not only freed yourself from a relationship that ultimately is not the correct one for you, but also are confirming to yourself that when you have instinct, or when you have inspiration, or when you have intuition about a situation or a circumstance that is presenting itself in your life, that you do have the ability to advocate for what is the truth within you. Not everyone has your best interest at heart. That is because the collective that you are in does use the aspect of ego or of self or of the idea of self in order to experiment and play with themes and purposes. But ultimately, in this particular situation, there can also be a wonderful level of gratefulness that that particular experience is over, and moving into the next one, you will know earlier that something is off and allow yourself to trust that and allow the other person to prove to you that that thing is not the case. In other words, if you are moving into a new relationship, which we augur for you in the future, and we know it might be scary in this now moment, but in your future interactions with the partners that you are evaluating for yourself, you will be able to, when you have an inkling or a suspicion, slow yourself down. Because in those moments that you did go to him and he said to you, there's nothing to worry about, and oh, well, it is your problem, not mine. If you had slowed down and said, well, you know what, I'm feeling like I would do well to protect my heart just a little bit here, or to not engage so deeply with this situation or circumstance, eventually he would have revealed himself anyways. These things tend to unravel after some time, and for you, you are now in a position where, having had this experience, you will not fall easily into it again. Yes, there is a balance between that occurring and the not following into it easily again, and having the skill to be able to maintain an open heart and continue to be yourself in a relationship in that experimentation phase of the relationship before that trust is fully established. So we will ask you now, what is it you would like moving forward?
Yeah, that's the reason why I decided I wanted to talk with you, is because so the original plan was that he would move away to straighten out his stuff with his ex or whatever it is, his wife, and get rid of all the attachment strings that he had with these women. And then he would kind of clean up himself, and then we would just rejoin together. And now he has only been gone for a week, but now I'm thinking maybe it's not a very good idea. And also, I feel like I get, when I text or I talk to him, my heart is still pulled towards him. So that's one of the things also, is that I'm not sure is the I can allow myself to go back in a way. I think it may be detrimental for me, but I can't quite see that yet, because when I engage with him, I feel so pulled towards him still.
Well, this is a perfect moment for you to have that pause and to not engage with him at all. In that, if you were speaking with a friend of yours in the same situation, it would be very clear to you to say, you know what, he burnt his bridges. He is not the person. He is not your person. And he may one day be somebody's person. He may one day go off and clean up his act. He may one day prove to someone that he is worthy of their love and affection. But he has already proved to you that he is not. So no matter what wonderful aspects of this person that you believe you are drawn to, it is not actually him that you are drawn to any longer. It is those wonderful aspects. And there were, quote, good things about your relationship, in that there were certain ways that you felt when you were with him that felt good to you. There are some characteristics that he holds in his bag of characteristics that felt good to you. There were certain experiences that made you feel like you were in the kind of relationship that is correct for you. However, all of that is not actually him. That is you. That is data for you to know about the him that is the eventual person that does win a space in your heart, a seat at your table. This particular man in this now, no matter how much cleaning he does in the rest of his life, does not merit your wonderful energy. And meriting is an important aspect. And he will, of course, allow himself to take that seat and occupy it from someone else who does indeed merit it, because of course you are delightful. And of course, if he can find a way to get into that chair and have your love, which he does enjoy, by the way, instead of having to actually be the man who is meant to be in that seat, then for him it is only benefit and no loss. For you, however, it does mean that you are allowing him to occupy the seat of the man that is correct for you, that does share the same characteristics with him that he already did show you on a positive level, but who also holds your best interest at heart, who also makes you the star of his show, who also makes you the one and only that is his precious love. And if you allow this man to take that seat, what you are saying, not only to him, but to yourself, is, I don't want the full package. I don't want the full magnificent being that is my match. What I want instead is some sort of hybrid compromise that is manifested in the behaviors based upon, yes, his weaknesses, yes, his insecurities, yes, his wounding from a child, that allowed him in the first place to put you, the one that he had claimed was his precious one, into the position of having to compromise. We are not attached by any means to the idea that there's only one person for any being. You are all bumping into each other as soulmates. He is your soulmate indeed. So are many others. But if you have not yet finished the merry-go-round with this particular person, it means you cannot get onto the merry-go-round with someone else. So what is in your best interest is to heed this sensation that you have. Actually, he had left a week ago, and suddenly you're feeling slightly better, are you not?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel slightly better, yes.
It is because you are starting to honor yourself again, and without him in your direct space, we will use a strong word, abusing your good nature, you are able to feel into yourself more and say, you know what? Actually, he did hurt me. Why does he get any other second chance or third chance or fourth chance? He lied to you. Deliberately. And this deliberate lying left you feeling like there was something wrong with you, which is probably the even worse sensation.
What about when he says that he says that that part of him that came out is not him, is just a mechanic, is just like his shadow, and he's so when I tell him, well, you did this, and so even after I found out that you did that, then you said you stopped communicating with this lady, and then 2 weeks later he started communicating, and then I was like, what is that? That's like, but he says, he just, he screams and not screams, but he cries and is like, that is not me, that is not me, that is like the shadow, and that is why I'm working on it. And now he's cleaning up, he says he's cleaning up everything, and he's going around and telling everybody about me and cleaning up. I mean, is the I know I maybe already asked you this, but is there any chance that he would really like clean up and then just be that I saw him at the beginning?
No, it does not matter because it is not your job to be spending time with someone who is in a state of a cleaning process, especially when their mess has become your problem. Everyone's life is complicated enough to not have to deal with someone else's mess. You have a whole history of things that you have spent cleaning up that did not impact others in such a negative way, that you did not put upon his plate and say it was his problem. You did not coerce him into spending time with you. If he is such a mess and he loves you, would his instinct not to be to allow you to get as far away from him as possible?
Say that again.
If someone
Mhm.
truly is interested in your best interests, and they know that they are not suitable because of the shadows that they are carrying around or the garbage that they are lugging along with them, and they have a project within themselves to clean that up.
Yes.
Someone who truly is altruistic and has love for other selves would say to the being, I am so sorry for what I've done to you. I have a lot of work to do on myself, and it is correct for you to go on with your life in the meantime, seeking your happiness and delight in whatever ways that comes to you. And if, at such point as my life is indeed cleaned up to a state in which I believe I am worthy of your love, you will hear from me. And if at that point you have already moved on to such a point in which you are no longer interested in having interaction with me, then my honor would be for you to go on your merry way and have the life that you deserve, my love, as opposed to waiting around for me to get my act together.
Yeah, I mean, when he left, he did say that from time to time. He did say, we need to separate. You need to work on your stuff. I'm working on mine. And then when we find out who our true self is, we can see if we can rejoin together in truth, speaking the truth. So he did kind of say that.
Yes, but it does not matter what he says because he is a liar. Have you not determined that?
Yes.
And so we know that we do not often advise. We are simply telling you what you are already feeling and knowing in words that you can process directly. Don't continue on this merry-go-round with him. Perhaps you have not had yet enough interaction with him to decide that your soul contract is complete. And so you can indeed continue to hold on to the hope that he will somehow miraculously become a different person. By the way, the shadow is part of you. It does not disappear. His shadow is not that he had desire for other women. His shadow is that he had desire from other women and it impacted you directly. So that is how it becomes your problem. Everyone is allowed to have their problems, but there is a level of emotional maturity and interaction and relational maturity that is required if you are wanting to occupy someone's heart, time, space, energy, etc. Because that is a contract, a loving contract in theory, in which you say, you give me your time, I give you my time, and we will do our best not to hurt each other. If his best to not hurt you involves him hurting you, then it is no longer appropriate for him to be offering that to you from a mature relational standpoint. And yes, okay, he's gone off and he's now going to work on his stuff. Do not hold your breath. It is not necessary for you to do so. You will simply turn blue in the face. Or he will come and go as he pleases. As he is feeling strong, he will come back, and then oopsie daisy, his shadow has returned. We are not saying he is a completely failed character and that he will not resolve his stuff. But there is a very good chance that what he does, it will be because you have left his life.
What he does, in which terms, what he does?
In terms of, if he ever does realize that he does want to change, truly, it will be because of the contract he has had with you and the loss and damage that has occurred to his life through his own behaviors. In other words, losing you will probably be the fastest way for him to figure out what he truly wants in life.
Got it. Okay. All right. And the other thing was that while he was here, I had made a decision to buy the half of the business that I had in common with my business partner. Because part of it was that it's a store, it's a consignment furniture store, but there is like a little mezzanine. And the project was to get the whole store, and then in the mezzanine to do kind of spiritual things so that he could do Reiki and shaman work, and then maybe some work around death of a child. And so I was kind of excited about it because also that could have given him a chance to work, because since he has been in with me, he hasn't worked. So basically, I I supported him for a year. And then he was he was gone. And so I stopped the whole buying of the business. But now so I had to stop it because I was shaken that I didn't know. And now I'm also wondering if there is any, like, if beyond that, there is really a pull for me to buy the store anymore. Do you have any insights on that?
Well, is there a pull for you to buy the store anymore?
Not so much.
The answer is no. And you have saved yourself and dodged a bullet by this unfolding in the timing that it did. In other words, you were supporting this man for a year,
Yes.
a man who presumably is an adult, correct?
Yes.
Who did not, at any given point in time, have an issue with the fact that not only were you giving him your love, but you were also maintaining his state of being. 4, you have learned valuable lessons in that as well. That was an aspect of your relationship that you did not like. You want to be supported and held by the masculine in your experiencing. You would like to be in your feminine. You would like to buy you would like for someone to buy you a store to help you achieve your dreams, to help you get further in your desires and dreams and goals. And we are not saying that it is not reciprocal in a healthy relationship. That is not the case. Indeed, you do both support each other. But this is not only a question of him having betrayed you in terms of interaction with other women. It is also a question of him having betrayed you and the role that you, as the divine feminine, want to hold in a romantic partnership. As opposed to you being the divine feminine in your partnership, you were filling the role of the divine mother. That is not the place for you to be in your romantic relationships, nor was it satisfying to you, nor did it make him attractive in your eyes.
Yeah. That is true.
So, good news! The man that is now on his way to you is not only loyal and faithful, he is also there as an equal partner to you, not some sort of leech character that snapped onto you and your vulnerability and saw a situation in which he could benefit without actually providing much in return, and ultimately, at the end, not even providing for you what you thought he was providing for you. What was the exchange, ultimately, when you think about when you felt good in that relationship?
What was the exchange?
In other words, what was he giving you?
I think it was just kindness and care. He was very supportive. Like we talked a lot about spirituality, and he was always very supportive. And he was a good guide in when I would talk about not problems, but hiccups that I had with other people or with my business partner. We were able to talk about them, and he would guide me, he would show me when my personality was coming in instead of going with my soul or opening my heart. So yeah, I mean, now I have a different lens because I look back, and at that time, I felt like, oh my gosh, he loves me so much. He's so kind. He's so attentive to me. But then now that I look back, I also see that he was doing that because I was his mom, and he was trying to please his mom
Yes.
so that I wouldn't get angry. And then he had to, yeah, I mean, so yeah. So when you ask me that question, I have to go back in seeing him, how I saw him before all of this happened.
Yes.
And that's what I thought the most, there was kind and attentive and cooked for me and yeah, those things, I
Do
guess.
you have a belief that these characteristics cannot be found in another person?
No, we also have no, but when we the way that we met, and then we had because it was after my daughter passed, and he did a couple of readings by cards, and then we started texting, and then I felt that I never thought I wasn't interested in having a relationship after my daughter passed, and when I met him through text, I felt like my heart was opening up again, and I had joy of life. I had joy of meeting him. And so I had a belief that my daughter was sending him to me. And then when he came to me, even though I didn't know much about him, and he told me that for him, it wasn't important to share about his past, that because he knew that he could see my soul, and my soul was connected with his soul. So I didn't really know much about him, but I thought I'm just going to plunge into this and open myself like I've never done before. So I really loved him completely and fully, like I gave him everything. And so, and there was a lot of joy in doing so. And then little by little, I realized that maybe his heart was not as open towards mine. I wasn't sure, because on one hand, he was so kind and gentle and all of this, but on the other hand, I felt like he was hiding things, and I didn't know what he was hiding.
So it is perfect that he came into your life when he did, because he did allow you to recognize within yourself that you had the capability of loving again after even more tragic experiences in your life. And so that is a gift, yes, that he brought to you, and a gift that the universe, in the form of him, remember please that any other self is also a divine being, did bring to you for you to experience. Now that particular contract has been sealed in that you do know you are capable of loving someone. You did not make a mistake in loving him. That was one of the things that you did do correctly. You discerned that you decided that you wanted to be someone who lives with an open heart. Again, you cannot control what anyone else does with your open-heartedness. Your next stage, and this is a very common trajectory in one's spiritual journey, especially in terms of relationship, is the learning of discernment, the having of the open heart to another self, yes, indeed, and simultaneously evaluating and discerning if you holding that heart so open to them is also in an honoring of your own heart. Because as you were holding your heart open to him, there were aspects of you that were making decisions as you went along when he wasn't perhaps satisfying that reciprocity or wasn't perhaps contributing in the ways exactly that felt good to you. And you said to yourself, well, actually, it doesn't really matter, because instead of him actually sharing with you his experience and being vulnerable and open-hearted with you about his past or whatever was going on with him, he told you, you know what? That thing that matters to you, that thing that matters to you, the vulnerability, the thing that matters to you, knowing my story, the thing that matters to you, whatever it may have been or however you proposed it to it, I don't care that it matters to you. I'm not willing to meet you there where we have real connection and things that are important to you are brought forward and brought forth. And we do understand why this does occur in humans. It occurs because you are so eager to get to the space where you have what is considered a long-term successful relationship that often you overlook the compromises that you are making on the way to, quote, getting there, as if there were better than here. Here is always the best place, and there will always be conflict when two beings are coming together. Conflict or friction or level of figuring things out day by day, moment by moment, and seeing where it is that compromise is appropriate and where it is that it isn't. So this wonderful relationship, and we will call it a wonderful relationship even with all of the packaged aspects included, has shown you that you can be both with an open heart, and now in your moving forward with someone else, we would suggest learn to have discernment as to what is it I really want, and not making those compromises because someone says that they feel such a connection for you. Great that they feel a connection for you. But if you are not feeling that connection in return and are saying, you know what, they're right, it is not important for me to feel the connection that I am requesting, then it is also the case that you are the one who will end up feeling unsatisfied in situations such as the one you are finding yourself. Your inner being throughout your relationship was communicating with you and is communicating with you, and is ultimately what had you do that snooping that you did. But what is also occurring is that throughout that moment, you were saying to your inner being, I hear you, and I don't care because I have a desire to make this thing work. Relationships are, yes, a little bit complicated in that they have many moving parts. But if there is some sort of large effort that makes you go against your own inner self that requires in that relationship for you to make it work, then it is not ever going to work, because ultimately your inner self will not let you be in a state of compromise such as the one you were in. And then someone, the other person on the other end of this relationship, will find themselves, quote, unable to fight with their demons, and that is not who they truly are. It is not the case that he is unable to fight with his demons. It is a choice to not fight with the demons.
Okay. Okay.
You can breathe
yeah.
into this. No, it is difficult because we know that there's an aspect of you that does not want to now have to go into a situation where you are looking at another new person and figuring things out and in a state of unknowing or doubt. But we also know that you are an extremely strong human being. We know that you are on your way to a relationship and to delight in relationship that actually mirrors where you are in your journey.
Thank you.
We thank you.
Maybe do you have time for one more question?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I was wondering if the connection with my daughter um will be like I feel her, and sometimes I feel like she kind of moves through me or send me like little thoughts or things like that. My desire is to really have something more, a little bit more concrete. And I've been working on doing automatic writing with her, but I have had no success yet. But I was wondering if that could be a way that I could connect with her in a more, touchable way, concrete way.
Yes, indeed. It is a way that you can connect with her more fully. It is not that you have not had success yet. It is that you are still in the process of releasing any doubt of what is coming through. And as soon as you touch the pen or the keyboard for your automatic writing and you ask whatever question it is that you have in mind in terms of communication with her, you are indeed getting some level of response. It is not necessarily going to come out in the writing. It is not necessarily going to come out in the tapping, but it might be something that, like you said, are little messages. You can also practice when you are simply walking down the street in terms of asking her questions, beginning to have conversations, as if you know that she will not respond, but you will see after some time of playing around with this that there will be answers. For example, if you were to ask her right now what to do about this relationship, what would she say? Indeed, that is the correct answer, and that is what she is saying.
Really?
Yes. You have to recall that once someone has transitioned, they have more access to infinite perspective on the situation and circumstance. She knows 100% that her mommy deserves better than this man.
So was it just my own fantasy to think that she sent him to me?
It was in part that you were sent by her and the universe, because it is all collaborative, someone to stimulate you enough in the exact ways that he did stimulate you that made you feel comfortable to take that leap. If he had been in any other form, then you would not have been comfortable to take that leap. This particular person was exactly what was prescribed to you in that moment for exactly what has unfolded in this particular relationship, including the fact that it would not be the last relationship you ever had and is not the correct relationship for you to invest completely in, which you have now discovered. And so that particular season of that experiencing has come to a pause. Of course, you are the only one who can decide if it has come to its full end. But what is also taught you and given you and set you up for was to no longer compromise. Because when he did come into your life, you were in a state where compromise was the one thing that you wanted to do. Now, you are a completely different person than you were. You are far less, shall we say, closed or shaken than you were at the time. And you now can find someone who is not going to jump down your throat with talks about being soulmates right away, and who instead is going to build an extremely healthy relationship with you. At the time, you did need someone who was dramatic, and you did need someone who was going to be all in right away. His motives for doing so have become clear to you. But now, what you do need, or would like, is someone who really does meet you step by step everywhere you are. And that is a slow burn. If that had been who'd come to you at the time when this man did, you may not have even noticed that they existed, because you would have been in a space of going, well, my heart is completely closed. So this person, great. They call me once in a while. They are not really paying too much attention to me, and I'm not really feeling butterflies or sparks flying. And so, well, you know what? I can't be bothered. I'd rather just stay here alone in my room. Now, instead, we apologize. Now, instead, you are in a space where you have the ability to discern when someone who has the characteristics of what you would like in a long-term partner is courting you and is coming to you and saying, hello, I would really like to get to know you. And instead of saying, I would really like to get to know you because we are soulmates and I've been sent by some cosmic fairy dust. Do you see the difference?
Yes, yes.
Was required to pry your heart open a little bit. Now it is open, and you've seen also that it can get hurt, yes. So what you will do is have that open-heartedness while simultaneously holding some new boundaries that you will set for yourself with a level of discernment that will ultimately serve you and also your partner moving forward.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
From the space of infinite perspective, which your daughter does hold as well, every being that comes into your path is your soulmate, again. And so, yes, this man had great influence over you and has had impact on you and has been sharing in love, whether that be through actual love sharing or even the harm that has been caused between the two of you. And so, what is to be understood is that everyone that you come in contact with is sent in some way from your daughter.
Yes. Yes.
And she is watching out for you. Have that conversation with her more and more frequently about what it is should I do. Because she does have a very wonderful perspective on what you deserve, more so than you currently hold for yourself.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
She would also like to share with you one question. The question is, if our roles were reversed and I was in this relationship with this man, what would you counsel me to do?
Not that, yeah, to just move on
Yes.
and not go back.
Yes. And we understand that that is holding some difficulty for you. Instead of resisting that difficulty, allow yourself to feel it and allow yourself to sit with the emotions of it, because yes, you did invest a lot and yes, you were betrayed. So you are valid. It is valid for you to sit with those feelings and to process them in your due time. The best advice she or we or the universe could give you in this now moment is to limit all contact with him up until such point as you do not have any emotion around the situation. And then, if need be, which probably will not even be the case, reevaluate. This may take much more time than you are currently anticipating it will, and the best way to be in alignment with yourself is to allow yourself that space. In other words, you do not need to tell him that you are cutting off contact for some period. Simply do it and allow yourself that space, because you love you more than you could ever love anyone else.
Yes. Thank you.
We thank you. Is there anything else?
No, I think that is good.
Yes. So we have faith in you. We have faith in that open heart and that beauty that you are. We know what you deserve. You know what you deserve. And so we leave you in this now with the light and the love of 1,000 suns. A nine.
I hope you got a lot out of that session. I really did and enjoyed watching it. If you got any sort of tidbits or tips or something that this brought up for you, please make sure to leave it in the comments. It's super important for you guys to comment. It's super important for you guys to hit that thumbs up like button. It's super important for you guys to hit the bell icon so that you're notified when we have premieres, new things coming up. And it's super important for me because that way I know that you're enjoying this content and that you do want me to create more. So if you want me to create more, even leaving the comment "more please" or "more" is absolutely going to help the algorithm know that this is the content that you're wanting to see. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. All my love. Bye-bye.